go dancing in the sorrow that we carry from the sea.
This is my home. For me, this is my home. This is only be. It's temporary, but this is my Carolina, this is my North Carolina, this is my New York.
If we get rid of all of our farms around the greater New York City area, we'll have to entirely rely on food from abroad.
I feel like a lot of the things that really excite me about New York are these awkward juxtapositions, like a rooftop farm with the skyline we have, and how that inspires people. New York City is just the greatest city in the world. I wanted to live here since I was little. I remember at like 10 reading Vogue magazine and just being sort of enthralled with the idea that people could be so brave about everything they did. It's a place that really supports entrepreneurs. And for whatever faults it has, there's a really fast-paced history building here. So almost anything you do, if you do it well, it becomes sort of, I don't know, like a lighthouse to the world. You know, all you ever want as a farmer is to get a piece of land and start growing the food you love. And for me, as someone who really, really deeply loves New York City, it was a bit of a difficult career choice to think of like, well, do I buy land outside the city and I never get to hang out here? Or do I farm here and I'm always stuck with small garden patches with lead-filled soil? So it was really nice to have this project come up. And I have such an enthusiasm for vegetables, it's hard for me to think of it as a private project. So almost immediately it took over my whole life. The idea of having green roofs everywhere is fantastic. Simply to have a green space, I think. The only hang-up I ever have with this is that we don't have regular soil ecosystem up here. With 6 inches of soil and a lot of heat, there are some foods we can't do well. And I don't try to do them because we're here to do what we do best, not to please everybody's palate. That's why you need to support upstate farmers and buy from them.
The beauty of this place is its proximity to the city and the proximity to so many people who want to learn about this. This was a very agricultural area, and now there's barely anyone farming around the cities. We've sold off a lot of this land to estates, and obviously development is a lot more valuable. We're a place for them to get back and kind of stepping stone back into this understanding of where their food system is. I like the vegetables that extend into the season a lot farther. It would be kind of mundane for me to say I really like spinach, but I really like spinach in March, when I can go out to the field and like literally knock the snow off a tunnel, and that plant is in there all knobby and curled and dense and sweet like maple, and just built up all its sugar all winter long. And to know that that's there, so nutritious, so sweet, nothing like anything you'll ever buy. You know, since it lives here, why don't we should be eating spinach from New York, because it, you know, less miles, it doesn't need any protection, it tastes super good, and it gives the farmer something to do in the winter. They're just going back into their shed for the night, and in the morning they'll walk them back out to the pasture again. It's one of these things that you can do on a small farm, that there's this scale, it's human scale, mechanical scale. If you're in the human scale of things, sort of humanized, you can do stuff like this. This is the end of the day. This is enjoyable for us to be doing. Every day, everybody smiles when this thing happens. So this idea of organic, conventional, or local, or distant, I just think it comes down to mechanical and human. It's not about feeding the world. It's about engaging our community. And then we'll feed the world. We get some other steps before we get to that. You know? There's big ideas out there in the world that I wouldn't ever want to crush, because people are trying to, you know, there's some real problems in this world, but that's not this. What we're trying to do is engage our people.
You gotta eat. Everybody in the world has to eat one time or another. We always say, he who control your bread best to control your destiny. And I would like to be control of my destiny, you know. I watch the world today and see what's happening all across the country. Things are not getting better, things are getting worse. I think what's wrong with us, we greedy people. Americans are greedy people. We've gotten too lazy. In my family, when I came here, you couldn't be lazy. I was born in '34. In the 40s and the 50s, if you live in the Carolina and you wasn't educated, you couldn't be lazy because there wasn't a job for But no, whether you went to the cotton field or you went to the tobacco field or you went somewhere, you had to eat. So nobody laid in the bed 10, 11, 12 o'clock, not those days. Hell no. But I started here out of need. This community actually needed some things to change the community. We fell in a rut. And this garden was one of the few things that we could do together to make a change in the business. But I didn't get into do no farming. I got into it to try to make a difference in the community. At that time, the city was in a pretty bad state, had been burnt down. Anybody could have got a lot of those days if they wasn't lazy and wanted to do something. I know now what we're doing now is needed badly, and most of us know. Because whatever happened to us, we still gonna have to eat. And a lot of gardens distributed around the city and all the 5 boroughs around New York City is producing a tremendous amount of food. That's good. That is good for Americans. So we can help. We can help. We don't have to try to raise food and send them away, but we can help. This spot here can feed a lot of people. You can feed a lot of people with such a spot like this. You can raise thousands and thousands of pounds of food in this one block. So this is a good job to have. Just no pay involved. You gotta do it because you want to do it.
My God, when you fall, will you come away with me? We'll go dancing in the sun.
Even a small garden, you got to have chicken. I mean, if you ain't got chickens, listen, there ain't no farm.